Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. From grey hair gene to graphene foam, the world of science was alive with many breakthroughs throughout the week. We'll get you all the details on that, but let us begin with the headlines. IRNSS-1F, a 6th regional navigation satellite, joins the mission. Goodbye to graying. Researchers discover the grey hair gene. Graphene foam to protect your mobiles. And in our In Focus segment today, we will discuss about gene editing and its future applications. And now news in detail. Inching towards country's own GPS and navigation system, ISRO has followed the successful launch of IRNSS-1E with yet another. Yes, ISRO has successfully launched IRNSS-1F, the 6th satellite in the 7 series navigation satellite system. The launch that happened on 10th of March from Sriharikota is a step closer to the completion of India's ambitious regional navigation satellite system project, placing it on par with the global positioning system of the United States.
India is just one satellite away from its own navigation system. Yes, following the success of IRNSS-1E in January, scientists of ISRO have successfly launched the 6th satellite of the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS-1F. IRNSS-1F was launched on board Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV-C-32, from the 2nd launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. IRNSS-1F, with a mass of 1.425 metric tons and based on L1K bus, can generate up to 1,660 watts of power. The satellite features 2 solar panels and 1 lithium-ion battery. The spacecraft is fitted with a liquid apogee motor, dual helix antenna, corner cube retroreflector and star sensors. Configuration much similar to its predecessors, is carrying 2 types of payloads, namely navigation and ranging payloads. While the navigation payload will transmit directional service signals to users using the navigation data collected by the sun and star sensors, the ranging payload will consist of a C-band transponder, which facilitates accurate determination of the range of the satellite. IRNSS-1F is the 6th out of 7 in the Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System, that is IRNSS series of satellites after IRNSS-1A and 1B, 1C, 1D and 1E.
Today we had the 6th satellite of our regional navigation satellite series going into the orbit, and now the PSLV-C-32 has put the satellite into the right orbit, and we have only one more satellite in this constellation to complete our sequence of 7 satellites for the regional navigation satellite, which we expect to do sometime next month.
The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, shortly known as IRNSS, is India's indigenous satellite navigation system and has been developed by ISRO. Unlike the global navigation systems existing, the IRNSS navigation system will be under the total control of Indian government. The system will help in terrestrial and marine navigation, disaster management, vehicle tracking, and fleet management.
Hair dyes may temporarily hide grey hair, but what if your genes can be manipulated to permanently stop graying? Yes, looks like this will be possible, for scientists have discovered IRF4, the gene that has been reported to be the main culprit behind graying. Let us see this report.
Grey hair. rebranded as silver, might be considered a fashion statement. But graying hair, a sure sign of aging, is a concern for many. While researchers have proposed lifestyle, stress and genetic factors as causes of graying, the exact cause was unknown, at least till now. With the new discovery, we may be able to say goodbye to graying and hair dyes. And gene manipulation may be the answer. As a team of researchers led by Indian origin scientist Dr. Kaustubh Adhikari from University College London has pinpointed the gene responsible for grey hair. The gene called IRF4 regulates the production and storage of natural hair, skin and eye pigment called melanin. The discovery is based on a genome-wide analysis study conducted on DNA samples from more than 6,000 volunteers of European, Native American and African ancestry. The volunteers were assessed for hair shape, color, balding and graying, with men also checked for beard, monobrow and eyebrow thickness. Studies show that the IRF4 gene is located on the 6th chromosome and along with many other genes and factors controls the process of graying, playing a crucial role in the regulation of production of melanin. Graying occurs when the melanocyte cells present in the roots of hair stop producing the melanin pigment that give hair its color. The discovery of IRF4 gene paves new ways for delaying or preventing graying of hair aging. The research has been published in Nature Communications.
The more expensive the cell phone, more worry about protecting them from damage. So how about a magical foam that protects your mobile from accidental drop? Well, researchers have developed a graphene foam, a revolution in the world of nanotechnology, which can protect your electronic devices from damage. Check this out.
Perhaps today we spend more on the protective coverings and peripherals than the actual gadgets like mobiles and laptops. Despite all our precautions, these electronic devices just need a fall to break and run out of order. Now we can rest our fears as researchers have come up with a novel shock absorber, which can protect electronic devices like cell phones, tablets and laptops from accidental damage. The shock absorber has been designed at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, under the leadership of Dr. Abha Misra. The novel technology is based on the use of graphene foam, a spongy three-dimensional network structure composed of a thin layer of graphene.
My research is focused on mainly coupling different effects and finding out new phenomena in nano or microscopic scale. So what my research group is focused on carbon materials, because carbon, it's a diamond, it's the most famous allotrope of the carbon. And then we know the graphite. And when we go further miniaturization, then we know that graphene exists, carbon nanotubes exist, and also now quantum dots, which you can call as a zero-dimensional object.
The lightweight graphene foam, akin to a sponge, has a very low density, but graphene can be 300 times stronger than steel, and due to its strong atomic bonds, has high load bearing capacity. The researchers have gone one step ahead to create a 6 times stronger and flexible graphene foam PDMS composite, or GFPDMS, by mixing the new graphene foam with PDMS or polydimethyl siloxane. The shock absorber made of GFPDMS, unlike conventional shock absorbers, does not deform under pressure. The miniature shock absorbers can easily fit inside ultra-thin smartphones or laptops and is reusable with excellent thermal and electrical conductivity.
We have also demonstrated that if you use these foams for packaging, so you have a sensor foam and you have a protection foam. So it actually absorbs almost 80% of the impact energy into this tiny structure, so which is very effective. So since our society is actually moving towards the miniaturization and high speed devices, so where these new phenomena based nanomaterial play actually significant role in having the versatile characteristics and applications.
Apart from being an excellent shock absorber for electronic devices, the graphene foam PDMS composite can be used in ion batteries, in gas sensors to detect toxic gases like nitrogen dioxide, and high-speed photo detectors to detect harmful UV rays. When the new shock absorbers hits the market, one may rest in peace about any accident damage to their valuable electronic devices.
And in Science Monitor, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more science news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. Let us now have a look at some important science and technology activities happening in India and abroad in our next segment, Science Express.
Marking 5 years of its inception, the team of Science Monitor and Gyan Vigyan conducted a panel discussion on need of science and technology information in society on 8th March in New Delhi. The panel discussion commemorating the completion of 5 years of the program saw the enthusiastic participation of prominent science communicators of the country. Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, graced the occasion as the chief guest. The panel discussion focused on many pertinent issues including need of validation of traditional knowledge, scientific temper and methodology, training researchers on science communication and much more. In a rare celestial event, millions of people across Indonesia and the Pacific witnessed a total solar eclipse, with parts of the region falling into complete darkness. The eclipse began at 6 hours 19 minutes local time, and as the eclipse reached totality, the moon blocked all direct sunlight, turning day into night. In India, the eclipse was visible partially in the northeast and eastern coastal strip in the early hours of 9th March. In a major campaign towards eradicating tuberculosis in the country, the US has now joined hands with India. Marking the collaboration between the two countries on this venture, the US envoy to India, Richard R. Verma, hosted a reception at the New Delhi Embassy recently, which was also attended by Amitabh Bachchan, who is also the brand ambassador of Indian government's tuberculosis program. The collaboration comes in a crucial time when drug resistance is emerging as a major threat. It was a visual feast to bird lovers across the country as they flocked to Mumbai's Sewari Mahul wetlands on 5th March to attend the Flamingo Festival. The festival was an opportunity for bird lovers to watch thousands of flamingos in their natural habitat as they feed and wade in huddles on the mud flats. The wetlands are home to flamingos which migrate to India during December. The participants also expressed their concerns over the construction of 22-kilometer-long Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link, which is likely to affect 38 hectares of protected mangrove forests, which hosts thousands of these flamingos. In another unique step towards conserving bird species and creating awareness about bird safety, a bird exhibition was held in Gujarat on 4th March. The exhibition called The Bird Project was organized by Vadodara Center for Animal Rescue and Emergency and showcased wall paintings and sketches of birds by popular artists from across the country. The exhibition, which saw the participation of more than 100 artists, aimed to create awareness among people to save birds and protect them.
Yes, with the discovery of the grey hair gene, we may now be able to say goodbye to greying forever with gene manipulation. Similarly, we have in our past episodes seen how cells of the immune system can be designed to fight cancer, or how organisms can be genetically modified to show desirable traits. Now, these feats are the result of a revolutionary technology which holds a huge promise. The technology called gene editing has been hailed as the future technology. But while experts are exploring the amazing possibilities of gene technology, concerns surround the misuse of the same. So in our In Focus segment, we'll today explore the process and the possibilities of gene editing.
In his 1932 science fiction called The Brave New World, Aldous Huxley attempted to explore how life might be in AD 2540. A world where babies are genetically engineered to fulfill a specific role in society. Less than 100 years since its prediction, acclaimed journal Nature in 2011 declared genome editing as the method of the year. Following this, in 2015, came the breakthrough called the CRISPR-Cas system for gene editing, which is expected to revolutionize the future of medicine. This brings us to the important question: what is gene or genome editing? The nucleus of every human cell contains a long, double-stranded coiled molecule called the deoxyribonucleic acid, or the DNA. Small stretches of this DNA codes for specific proteins and controls their heredity and are known as genes. The entire genes of an organism together constitute its genetic makeup, or the genome. From the color of eyes and hair to height of a person and predisposition to many diseases, every aspect of an organism's life is decided by the genes. Today, scientists have developed a toolbox of molecules and enzymes which can be used to edit the errors in the genome of an organism, the technique known as genome editing. Genome editing refers to a special type of genetic engineering in which DNA or genes are inserted, deleted, or replaced in the genome of an organism using specifically designed enzymes. The enzymes function as precise molecular scissors. They are guided to bind to specific sequences by proteins or RNAs and create site-specific double-strand breaks at desired locations in the genome. In this way, mutated or faulty genes can be excised out of the genome. The cell repairs the breaks created in their DNA by two mechanisms called non-homologues end joining, in which enzymes directly join the DNA ends in a double-strand break, and the homology-directed repair, in which a homologous sequence is utilized as a template for regeneration of missing DNA sequence at the breakpoint. When the cell attempts to repair the breaks, new sequences or mutations can be introduced into the targeted DNA region to create new and tailored genes. The enzymes used to cut genes are known as nucleases, and presently 4 types of nucleases are used, namely meganucleases, zinc finger nucleases or ZFNs, transcription activator like effector-based nucleases or TALEN, and the CRISPR-Cas system. While various kinds of meganucleases are derived from microbes and they recognize and cleave long specific sequences in DNA that range from 12 to 40 base pairs, ZNF and TALEN are based on the use of artificial restriction enzymes. The artificial enzymes are created by fusing 2 enzyme subunits. While the first subunit can be designed to target and bind to specific desired DNA sequences, the second domain acts as the molecular scissor. The most recent technology that has taken the world by storm is the CRISPR-Cas technology. The technology makes use short repeated sequences called CRISPR to make special programmable transcription factors that allow scientists to target and activate or silence specific genes and Cas9 enzyme that can cut the genes. The potential applications of gene editing are many. While researchers plan to use gene editing to modify plant genomes and create high-yielding crops for food and fuels, the most anticipated application is the gene therapy. Researchers have already demonstrated the power of talon to create designer T cells of the immune system to fight cancer. Doctors at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital have successfully treated a 1-year-old baby suffering from incurable leukemia using designer T cells from which undesirable genes has been cut out. Researchers from the Kunming Biomedical International has demonstrated how CRISPR technology can be used to edit genes in fertilized primate eggs to create designer monkeys. The day is not far when gene editing technologies can be used to edit the genomes of embryos and remove diseased genes, paving way for a world without genetic disorders like hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, and many more. However, presently a lot of ethical concerns surround the use of this technology, and experts fear the misuse of the same. But armed with this technology, the day is not far when humans will be able to play God.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write in to us at Vigyan Prasar C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Subha TV and think scientific. Bye-bye.